Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lead Pitch Live here at the famed Southern Charm Restaurant in the heart of Fort Myers. Be sure to Google them. The best Southern food, the best atmosphere, the best restaurant. Once you come here, let me know. Hit me up on social media. Hit me up on my website. And let me know that I did you proud by recommending Southern Charm Restaurant. We have a thrilling show in store for you today. We get here my friends from the Naples Botanical Garden. Britt is here. Welcome back to the show, Britt.
Thank you.
I think you said it's been like 5 or 6 years since we last talked.
Just about, yeah.
So you must have liked my cologne. You came back.
Had such a great time, yeah.
Were you the same in the same capacity that when I interviewed you last time, say 6 years ago?
That's a great question. Actually, my role has changed as our programs have continued to grow at the garden. Mm-hmm. So as Vice President of Education and Interpretation, we're responsible for everything anyone learns intentionally or accidentally and at the garden, and then everything that basically that you experience that's not a plant. Mm-hmm. So education, interpretation, formal programming, tours, signage, but then also exhibits, festivals, and our volunteer program too.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that. It certainly plants and trees are the foundation of everything there, but there's so much more there. And every time I've come to the Naples Botanical Garden, and I'll be coming there again in the near future, I'm always amazed because I get a chance to see some behind the scenes, and it's just a huge operation and a lot of things there to educate people. And then some of the events that you put on throughout the year are just breathtaking. Just speak to the overall general public on what they may not realize about the Botanical Garden.
Oh, wow. That's, where to start. I always say without plants, life on Earth as we know it would cease to exist. And we take plants for granted so much. And one of the things that we do in education is we try to cure that plant indifference or plant blindness. Mm-hmm. And we do that through all different kinds of programming, but we really try to reach all the different kinds of learning style that there are, and visitor types too. Mm-hmm. Because everyone's coming to the garden for a different reason, and we want to engage with them somehow, some way. And so that's why you'll find so many different ways to learn and experience the garden. And one of the reasons that we have exhibits and festivals too, because there's certainly a lot of people who maybe plants aren't their first interest, but they're art enthusiasts. And so we can get to plants through art. And same thing with festivals too. Plants are at the core of all of our festivals. But a lot of people, they want to have a good time, right? Mm-hmm. So they're not necessarily on a Saturday morning going out like, I'm going to learn something today, but I want to have a good time with my family. And so the Botanical Garden is a place to do that. And our festival program has grown quite a bit in the last few years, and that's gotten a lot of first-time visitors into the garden. And what I've really found is that once you get people into the garden, they want to come back. And when they get to experience it the first time, I think something that surprises them is how big our property is. We have about 9 acres of designed cultivated gardens and then 90 acres of managed natural areas. So you can go kind of have a wild Florida experience without having to drive all the way out to the Everglades.
I see.
Yep, so lots of different ways to learn about the garden.
Your CEO, Donna, right? She is extremely passionate about connecting the Botanical Garden to the community, that they are one and the same, and that the community feels to be a part of that. When you have a CEO with that type of passion, does it filter down to staff in the same dynamic way? Absolutely. I think we're always looking for ways to collaborate now.
Donna has just welcomed so many people to our work and been really engaging the community since she's been here, which has been about 5-6 years now that she's been with us. But we're always looking in education, how can we engage, for example, like the Children's Museum of Naples, how can they be part of a festival that we have coming up for families? Mm-hmm. We have an event coming in November, Dia de los Muertos. It's our 2nd year having this celebration, and we really need the community support and engagement with that. To put on a fantastic, authentic event. And so we've learned so much from our community partners, but then our audience can start to see themselves in some of the work that we're presenting.
Let's go back to education in particular. When we hear the word education at the Naples Botanical Garden, that means what?
So our mission in the education department is to connect people with plants and to show plants' value to all life on Earth. And we do that through engaging, accurate, impactful experiences and interpretation. And that's one of the things, our department, our education team, this time of year in the summer and early fall before season starts, we are going back and we're updating all of our content and all of our material to make sure that it's factually correct, because the science changes. So we stay current, and it's not the same thing all the time. It's not like a memorized script you're always hearing. And one of the things I think our team is exceptional at is forming connections with people and using that connection to connect them with plants and see the value of plants in their everyday life. And so that's what we really want everybody who visits the garden going back home and thinking about plants in a different way and using that in their day-to-day life.
Walking through the garden is not a static process, in the sense of things are constantly changing in the garden, and there are other things outside of the garden that happens on that property that fits into the whole educational spirit as well. Can you expound on that, if you please?
So there's a lot going on at the garden. I'm not even really sure where to start with that, because we have the 90 acres of managed natural areas. We have healthy habitats, and because of those healthy habitats, we have wildlife on our property. And we've got trail cameras all throughout the site that take note of that. And so we've seen, bobcats, panthers, everything, bears move on through. I know, and we're kind of like in the city. And so we see that kind of take place, but then we use those natural areas too as an kind of an outdoor classroom and learning laboratory as well. So there is some research that takes place on our property, as well as we just started doing prescribed burns, and that's been another way that we've been collaborating with partners with managing the habitat. Fire is a great way to manage some habitats, and so we've used our site for that, to work with our partners, train some of our staff to do that. And that's kind of led to and helped facilitate some of the other more formal relationships we have with our city government, our county government, and other state agencies, and some conservation work that takes place outside of our gates.
You mentioned some of them, but I want to give you time to take your time and talk about some events that you have coming up in the future.
So the biggest one that we have coming up that we're probably most well known for is Johnsonville Nightlights.
Absolutely.
I know you've been there. So that is...
Ooh, people just got it. It's time for Johnsonville Nightlights again.
I know.
It seemed like it was just yesterday.
It was. The time flies. Whoa. It really does. And that one, it's become a community, event, and I think it's just a great way to experience the holidays in the tropics.
I plan on being there again. So
Good.
I know you hear me, Donna. Everybody, let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love Johnsonville Nightlights. Tell people what that's all about.
So this event kicks off the day after Thanksgiving, so it'll be November 24th this year. And we actually added a whole week. So there's 42 nights of Johnsonville Nightlights. But it is an evening holiday stroll through the garden event. The garden is just lit beautifully. And we have music in the main garden and the water garden stage. And we have other musicians in the Florida garden, cafe specials. It's just really pleasant. It's a great way to get out and with your family, with your friends and family, and enjoy a good time.
Let's take a look at a commercial that people see on Lepis Live and here on our radio show.
At Naples Botanical Garden, imagination is blooming around every corner. Explore the best of the tropical world, minutes from downtown Naples. Visit naplesgarden.org to plan your visit today.
So we just took a look at a commercial that gives you a general idea. And one of the things I noticed in the commercial too is a wide range of different things, various ages of people, races, and creeds that come out and enjoy that experience. That is something that you guys are real passionate about, isn't it?
It is so important for us, one, to be a garden for all, and two, for our visitors to reflect our community. And we've definitely seen a change, I think, in the last few years as more people have come to the garden and returned to the garden, that we are reflecting our community. Some things that we do, we are really committed to multilingual signage and materials in the garden. So you'll see signage in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole, which are the three most spoken languages in Florida. We do have some programming, also bilingual programming available in English and Spanish, live in-person programming. But we also have lots of different paths to entry too. There's never been so many different ways for someone who's never been to the garden to be able to get in for that first time. Like we do a local resident discount, and we also have an educator admission program for our 3-county area, Collier, Lee, and Charlotte counties.
Website is naplesgarden.org.
Yes.
For those who are listening to us on radio, and people are seeing that on television now, when they go to that website, they will get a smorgasbord of different activities. They can always stay up to speed on what's going on and with the Naples Botanical Garden, right?
Yeah, we've got a really great calendar feature. We actually just updated our website, so it's even easier to navigate than it's ever been before, but great calendar up there. So just click on a day that you're interested in visiting, and then you can find out all the activities that day.
We are extremely blessed in Southwest Florida that we have a botanical garden. Everybody doesn't have the pleasure that we may take it for granted, but we're really blessed in that tropical climate allows us. I'm trying to act like a horticulturist now because I've done so many of these, and Donna has really educated me and the other great people who've come on the show. But we are able to get those Caribbean type plants and things that grow uniquely here, right?
That's exactly right. So we have more in common with the Caribbean and that tropical region than we do with the panhandle of Florida. So you'll see a pretty wide-ranging Caribbean plant palette within our garden, but then there's also things that we can do outside that the big established gardens in big cities up north can't do. Which is we grow water lilies year round outside, and our orchid collection is outside year round. And we have our La Grippe orchid garden, which is literally dripping with orchids. And that garden is constantly changing too. So those are some real advantages that we have to where we are.
Talk about how the garden impacts the community.
So lots of different ways. You know, we have long-standing, since we opened in 2009, we have a really robust school program, school field trip program. And that's one too that I'm proud to say that we've never turned anyone away because they couldn't afford to visit. And so we've had kids, I've actually have staff who came on field trips to the garden. So we start engaging, you know, with kids, and then we've got an internship program as well. And, you know, some of those people become staff. So that's one way, is, you know, working through schools and then providing resources to all the many schools that have school gardens. And actually, I'd say half of the schools that are in our school garden network are in Lee County, which is a recent change and pretty cool. But that's a network we bring together. Everybody is a garden educator, and we are just this neutral convener where they can all learn together. So that's one way, certainly. But then we're also working now, as I mentioned, with the city and the county on local conservation issues. A big one is restoring our dunes and restoring our beach post Hurricane Ian. And so we're working down in Collier County, the city of Naples and Collier County, and getting the right plants, the palette of plants, and then the plants themselves to grow out onto the beach to anchor our beach in place, so that it's more resilient to, you know, everyday stress. And that's some of the work that takes place kind of behind the scenes that the average visitor probably is not aware of. But I'd say, you know, our biggest impact on the community is being part of people's memories, being a backdrop for them when they come to Johnsonville Nightlights year after year, or they come and we just had a quinceañera photo shoot, you know, when people do their family photos in the garden, or just, you know, have their Mother's Day outing, you know, out there, that we just become part of their fabric of their lives.
And we see that word Naples Botanical Garden, but the Naples Botanical Garden, and of course people are seeing this television show in the surrounding 7 counties. You guys are welcoming to all the people in the region and from outside of the region to come and partake there, right?
Absolutely. We get a lot of local visitors from Miami, Tampa, Sarasota. So we make a great day trip. So come over to the garden for a couple of hours and maybe go to our beaches that we have, you know, in Naples. But definitely like to see people. It's kind of like the staycation idea, you know. Yeah, we do see a lot of tourists like that. That's
outstanding. Well, it's certainly been a pleasure to have you come out. I'm looking forward to, in the near future, bringing the show back down to my favorite spot, Naples Botanical Garden, and it really has enlightened my appreciation for the nature and when I'm there, I just feel like I'm so relaxed. It's like, cause I live this type A personality. When I hit that garden, it's like, wow, it's just it just creates that for people, doesn't it?
It does, and last year was interesting because we didn't see quite as many tourists come through, but we saw so many more local residents, and I think after Hurricane Ian, so many people were looking for that relaxing experience. And what better place to do it at the Botanical Garden? You're just surrounded by beauty, and you can't help but just exhale a little bit as you're walking through.
What are the hours there?
So through the end of September, we are on summer hours until 2 p.m., and then we're 9 to 5 for the rest of the year until June 1st. We open at 8 a.m. for members.
Okay.
Yep.
And one can go to that website to become a member as well.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm proud to say I'm a partner.
Excellent.
And, so you guys are doing a great job, so keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you.
Let's do this. Britt Patterson-Weber, Vice President, Education, Interpretation of Naples Botanical Garden. Thanks for coming out.
My pleasure.
Let me bump you out. So remember, for those who say it can't be done, they are usually interrupted by those like the fine people at the Naples Botanical Garden. And remember, Miami has the oranges, but the Naples Botanical Garden has got the
juice.
The juice. We'll be right back.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello, everybody. This is Lee. I'm so glad that you watched that particular show. And if you enjoyed that show, we got other shows like that. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch Lee Pitts Live on demand anytime. And also hit us up on all our social media platforms. Just type in Lee Pitts Live, and there you go.